Welcome back, guys. In this video, we get the engine installed for the second to last time in the E36. And if you're not familiar with this build, this is my first car I ever owned. My 1994 325 IS. Been through a lot with this car. It had a turbo built S50 E46 M3 6-speed, M3 parts throughout, built subframe, LSD diff. It's had 3 different turbo setups on it now, but now we're done with the turbo stuff. In fact, there's the old built motor and the E46 M3 Tranny peeking back there. We are done with turbos on this car. We're done. We are on to a built LS1. Never even ran since rebuild. Should be about 430 horsepower. We have a T56 going in the car. Whole bunch of new parts. Check out the previous videos for all the details. Also, we have the ZR2 over here. That is a Duramax. That has a lot of work done to it. If you want to check out that build, check the link up here as well. Now today, in addition to getting the engine in there, testing out some other things, doing a whole bunch of swap stuff, steering shafts, how to make a custom one for your E36. This is a solid shaft, and this cost me about $75. And that replaces this, which is actually broken. If you have one of these, don't buy a poly flex shaft, guibo, whatever you want to call this. They are junk, they will break. Here's the other half. You can see, so we're going from a shaft with a flex point in it to one that's just 2 solid U-joints on each end. You can make this a custom length. And the benefits to this are, not only is it have no flex points in it, it's a solid shaft. It's an all BMW part. This is nothing but BMW parts in this. This is a BMW steering shaft. This is from an E46. You need 2 of these, but it fits well. It's a budget build, and it's gonna allow me to be able to get it in this tiny little spot. From there down to there, which is tight with the CX Racing headers. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's revert back a little bit to getting this engine in the car. Now that you guys are all caught up, let's move on to the next part. I have more release bearing parts to install, the clutch line from Chase Bays. So we're gonna start there. For not having any professional experience with paint body work, I am very happy with this. I think it turned out really, really nice, at least for the first couple coats of primer. I did do about 7 coats of filler primer, which obviously I'm gonna do more sanding on that, but it did turn out really clean. These spots here turned out great. It's almost ready for the base and clear. I just need to put the engine and transmission in, make sure I don't need to do any more modifications to anything before I end up doing the spray out of the Hellrot Red. So I got the bleeder installed. I need to hook up the feed line to the release bearing, so I have to drive out this old pin, which I was hoping this just come with a quick disconnect that will go here, but that's not the case. So I guess I have to drive out this pin to fit this in there. Seal in this? Ah, yeah, okay. Alright, well that's done. Release bearing done, ready to be installed, which we're gonna do next. Thread locker on there. Measure for the bearing here. Alright, take the spring up here so I can get an accurate measurement. Alright, we got that measured up. I don't need any shims or anything. Didn't think I would because this setup was used before, but I wanted to check. I do have about an 1/8 inch clearance which is just about right on spec. Now, I'm not sure if I should try to mount the transmission after the fact. We'll try to do it now. I'm going to try to do it now and try to load it all in as one unit just to check clearances of everything. And if that doesn't work, I'll just drop it in as it is now with the bell housing on. Also, I have to take this shifter off. Someone pointed out to me that this will not work with this kit, so yank that off there. That's pretty close. Pull it in the rest of the way with the bolts. I just got some temporary bolts in there. I need to order a bolt kit for this. I got the bell housing bolts, the exact specific ones, but the transmission and bell housing didn't order yet. These are just temporary to mock everything up. We are in there, nice and flush all the way around. You guys didn't think my clutch alignment tool would work. It worked perfectly. So, you see a problem? Son of a bitch. Back apart it goes. Oh, idiot of the year goes to me. Only one way to learn, right? Just do it yourself, mess it up, and try again. Oh, that's done. Glad I had to do that twice. Oh, slid right in this time. Back installed with the clutch lines now. Now we're ready to hoist this thing up. All right, here's an issue, guys. You'll see these arms. There's no way I'm gonna get it in with both arms still attached. So I'm gonna detach one of them so I can shift the motor side to side. Now once it's down and under this rail, it'll fit just fine. So one of these has to come off. It's almost in there and it's going pretty smoothly. Whew. Let's see if that freed up some room. Whoop. One mount's in. Of course, the other mount isn't even attached. Now I'm going to go underneath, try out this transmission mount. If that fits, it does fit as good. They're all in and almost lined up. The only issue is that bolt, motor mount bolt, isn't through because it started going through the wrong hole of the subframe. So I just gotta wiggle some things around, get that in there, make sure everything's good to go. She'll be in. Well, boys and girls, it is in fully. Engine and transmission for the first time ever. And here it is. The freshly primed engine bay. CX Racing headers fit phenomenally. The new Pennsyltucky Performance mounts V2 fit perfectly on both sides. You see the little rubber puck under there, that is the bushing. Passenger side obviously fits with no issues at all. We got the release bearing bleeder. We got the feed line for the clutch release bearing. We got, let's check out the oil pan clearance, which is perfect. Here, I'll try to get you level. There we are at the subframe. So it actually sits up a hair from the subframe. Excellent fitment. And then all the way back, you see the headers fit in there real nice. They're not super low. They're not touching anything. Transmission sits up in there. On the Pennsyltucky Performance mount, that jack is just sitting there because I used it earlier. It's not holding anything up. It is all just finally coming together. It's looking very good. I'm very happy with the fitment. I wanted to finish it off with getting the engine and transmission in there. for the first time. Obviously, it's going to be coming back out for me to paint the engine bay. I'm going to go over some of the next steps, which is steering shaft, figure out what I'm going to do with that, not use the stock one, got to get a skinnier one, and if I can keep factory ABS in its factory location. I'm going to try. We'll see. So to pick up where we left off, engine is in. I already pulled the brake booster off just to be able to paint more. What I realized is the Chase Bay's clutch line does not work for the slave cylinder that I have. The slave cylinder I have is threaded. So I ordered an OBD2 slave cylinder, which this is where it connects right there. So I'm going to work on pulling that slave cylinder out. Also, I'm going to fix a couple little nicks we have here from installing this, and then over here I needed to do a little more sanding. Then we're going to work on ABS and see how that fits with this whole setup. We'll see. By the way, shout out to my dad for this light. This thing is incredibly bright. Well, this sucks. But I got it. Another thing I have to do is the custom steering shaft. Now you can buy one that are a solid one piece with universal joints at each end. You know, like Sicky makes one, but they're like $300+, which is just too much for a steering shaft. The alternative is getting two E36 shafts, cut them to length, and then these pieces basically end up conjoining together and use a nut and a bolt, and there you have a solid steering shaft. Picked up two of these on eBay for about probably $75 total to replace this. Another thing is I replaced the rubber Guibo flex shaft, whatever you want to call it, with this. When I pulled the motor out, this is what it looked like. I mean, it basically, it had been all cracked. When I pulled the motor out, it finally just like, oh, I mean, that's just freaking dangerous, whatever. I mean, this was a pretty expensive piece too. I'm not sure why it failed, but that would have been very bad on the street. So I do not recommend this by any means. Anyway, we need to make these the same length as this, and there'll be some leeway in there too. You'll be able to move it in and out so it's just right. That is so it fits in this little bitty little area over here, from there to up there. It's tight. Obviously make sure you get ones that have good steering shafts that aren't all out of whack, wobbly and stuff. This shaft will fit inside of there, vice versa. So you basically just got to get the length here correct to have plenty of leeway, because I want some room to expand and tract. And you see in here, it's hollow. So technically right now, I could slide them together. Now they would be too long, as you can tell, but you see how this, basically see how this works. Bolt nut right there, bam bam. However, this is too long. And even if I did it like that, it would be too long. Really, I just need to cut this little ear off right here. Now, so what I have to do is knock out the old inside part of this, so this will slide inside. Oh, okay, we're already moving down. I just knocked it back down in there, so we have plenty of room now. Didn't even have to fully remove it. Now you get some adjustment there, so you have room to, slide it in if need be. So really how it's going to sit, you have a solid shaft. Now obviously there's a little bit of wiggle room there because there's no adhesive. What's going to happen is nut and bolt, bam. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this back in so we get just another level of adhesion inside there. And here is the finished product. This one is chopped down, then it feeds into this one, which it'll have, this connection will actually go in there, and the smaller one will fit on the one deeper inside. So that's a very strong and locked connection. And right now you can obviously hear some jingle jaggle. That's because I don't have the bolts in there yet. I'll end up having a bolt here and a bolt here. You see the length. There it is compressed, and then I have room to expand it if need be. That a completed, custom, solid, cheap steering shaft. The same as the old one. I don't have these tight because I'm pretty sure whenever I go to install this, I'm gonna have to take this out so I can, you know, slide it around from end to end, but we'll see. Very happy with this. It's turned out clean, solid, budget. Looks nice. It's gonna give me all the room I need to snake it in through these V8 headers. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We're making good progress on the LS1 swap. Next video, this will be coming back out and the engine bay will be getting fully painted as well as a whole bunch of other parts going in. So stay tuned for that video. I'm gonna be putting out videos on this more often. We're not gonna have a real big hiatus like we have been in the past. It is winter, this is the winter build. So with that being said, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.